Hi there, welcome to another episode of the 0 to 1 podcast. My name is Jifa and I'm your host. On this episode, we'll be speaking with Ruth Elinam Yevu. She's an avid writer who started a blog called Found Worthy in 2016 and currently an author of the book Graced Through Grief. She serves in Joe Mettle's ministry as the personal assistant to Joe Mettle. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my darling friend, Ruth Elinam Yevu. Welcome, Elena.
Thank you, Jifa.
So
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Oh. How you doing?
I'm well. Yourself?
I'm good. I feel like we're about to have an amazing conversation. Yeah.
I actually don't know what to expect.
Don't worry. It's you, so it's going to be good.
Okay.
Yeah. Grief is such a heavy word for me and for a lot of people. How were you able to write a book on grief?
So I think a couple of days ago, I was supposed to be on a friend's podcast. When I woke up in the morning, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? Who sent you to write a book on grief? Because, I mean, the subject is so huge. It's such a part of us. And I believe that our emotions are a very essential part of us. They are as real as your fingers, they are as real as your eyes, they are as real as your nose, they are as real as any part of our body. And for me, I believe that we sort of neglect or shun wanting to feel things. Yes, we shouldn't dwell on the feelings, but we want to shy away from feeling them, which now brings me to the issue of grief. Loss is painful. Loss is inevitable. Loss is a part of our journey in life. And when you lose something, it's okay to mourn or feel the pain about the thing. But then when you sort of nurse the pain, then it becomes you being in the space of grief, because now you are grieving the thing. And grief only proves the value or worth of whatever you've lost. Yeah. So I still don't know why. I still don't know how I was able to write the book, but yes, here we are.
Well done. So let me tell you a story. So one of the things that I did when my dad passed was to read a book. So there's this woman called Sheryl Sandberg, and she wrote a very popular book called Leaning. And after a while, she wrote another book called Option B, because she had lost her husband. In her first book, she spoke a lot about her husband. You know how when somebody gets married to someone, they get very attached. So she spoke a lot about her husband. The book was not about marriage or anything, but she mentioned her husband a lot. And then in her second book, she had lost her husband, so she wrote about that. And in my moments of grief, I didn't think of anything else to do. I just felt like, oh, I know this woman. She lost her husband, and she wrote a book about it. Let me just pick the book and read it. And everyone thought I was like mad, like, oh, is this how you're managing it? But then I just felt like I wanted something that I could relate to, something that made sense, at that time. And so I'm very happy about the book that you wrote or you've written. I think that people do not have to read that book. People should read yours. That's funny. But
That's so biased.
Yes, of course I'm biased. But I think it's very essential, that people are writing about these things. Like you said, we don't talk a lot about emotions. When people are very emotional, we feel like this person's too emotional,
too much.
like check it. So for you to write about something as big, as grief in different variations of it, I think it's a really big deal. And what is the personal story behind it?
Wow. That's a deep sigh I just gave. I mean, So, about a decade ago, I lost my dad. And for me, I think that so much has happened in the span of this decade that I didn't even realize I was even going to write a book. Let me put it that way. So, writing is something I love to do. Journaling, I love to do. I think I started writing at the age of 6.
That's a
Because
long time ago.
it was like, I think I'd gone to church, okay, and then my Sunday school teacher was telling us of how died on the cross for us, his nail pierced hands and all of that, and I was really sad for Jesus, So I came home and but one thing she did say was, if we talk to Jesus, he can hear us. If we write to him, he can read it. So I came home and I picked a piece of paper and pen, went to hide under my mom and dad's bed, and I was writing. I said, I'm writing a letter to Jesus. So at the very least, it was a way of connecting to my emotions.
Yeah.
So if something was happening to me, I found it difficult expressing it, vocally.
Yeah.
I would rather be writing about it. So when my dad passed, the thing I started doing was I was now writing about what I was feeling, because I didn't think that there was anybody in church, or let me say even anybody in my circle, who really understood what I was going through, the emotions, the anger, the denial. I mean, every single day you wake up and you're confronted with a different kind of emotion, a different kind of feeling. You're just, there are some days you just even don't want to step out of bed. You don't want to see anybody. So writing all of that, still traveling the journey, about 2 years ago, or I think a year and a half ago, latter part of 2023, I woke up one morning and I had swellings on my face. Then I had to do a trip to the hospital. Then the doctor tells me, we think your kidneys are retaining water, because that's the only medical explanation to the swellings I was experiencing, because I had had them for about 2 or 3 days continuously. And for me, I was like, how? Because I eat well, I go to the gym, I'm doing everything possible to stay healthy. So why is the doctor telling me that? But then again, around that season, I was having a conversation where my boss was trying to tell me that he think that I needed to check the posture of my heart. And why I'm saying this is, I think that our pain was not meant to be retained. Whatever pain we experience in life is supposed to be released. And primarily, how you release it matters. Because when you retain it, what you realize is that you are rather nurturing the pain. And out of it comes resentment, out of it comes bitterness, out of it comes ingratitude and all of that. So I'm going through this season where I have to do so many medical examinations, so many trips to the hospital. Now they say we think that there are swellings, because I was having like terrible migraines. So now I go to see the ENT. Now they say you have to go take MRIs and all of that. So whilst I was seated just waiting to go to the procedure room, then the Holy Spirit whispered, have I not graced you through grief? And will I not see you through this also? Because in my mind, why do what is happening? Because we've done countless series of tests. We are doing this, we are doing that, we are doing this, we are doing that. So at that point in time, I was like, what exactly is happening to me? Where are you in all of this? And then he said, have I not graced you through grief? And will I not see you through this also? So that was where the title even came from. So I leave the hospital and he says, I've given you so much. So then I now have to go look at the things I had written over a decade and now put them together.
Ooh.
So that is how this book you see right here happened.
That's heavy. That's very heavy.
Yeah.
But then I think one of the things that it shows is the benefits of journaling.
Yeah. I believe it's one of the ways we can deal with things we don't want to talk about. Because you journaling is actually a way of talking about it. Yes. So I recommend it like highly. Get a journal.
Get a journal.
Yeah.
And journal. Don't just get a journal and keep it there. Write.
Journal, like write.
Yeah.
Write everything. Everything.
How do you think people can navigate grief and loss better?
I believe that we were not made to live or grow in isolation. So first of all, I think ideally anyone going through grief shouldn't be allowed to go through it alone.
Okay.
Shouldn't be allowed to navigate the painful seasons alone. So primarily, I don't think that anyone is supposed to go through grief alone or navigate the seasons or the stages of grief alone. We were not made to grow in isolation. And if you realize it's real transformation actually comes when we grow and develop connections.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the story of Ruth and Naomi in the Bible, Ruth was also grieving.
Yeah.
Because she had lost her husband. But I think essentially Ruth did something so beautiful for Naomi. Not that she was neglecting her pain, but then the gift of her presence in Naomi's life could so restore Naomi in a way.
Yeah.
So I don't think that when we are going through something, we are going through loss, we are going through grief, we are saying our goodbyes, the loss of job, whatever it is, you shouldn't have to deal with it alone.
So do you go to people and say, hi? I mean, and I'm asking this because I think that sometimes when you already have the community helps. You know, everyone sees that, oh, you've lost a family member or you've lost something very dear to you. So it's easier for them to come around you and be there for you. But for people who do not have that community, is there something you can recommend they do to rally people around them?
I think it's still going back to building it.
Okay.
Because it starts from somewhere. It starts from somewhere. For me, there was something that my best friend, Abana, and then my cousin were doing for me that they didn't realize they were doing for me. The gift of their presence. Like, they were there. I remember when I got the message saying, because my family was trying to shield me from the impact of the message that I had lost my dad. So after like 24 hours, nobody had still told me. But then I was going to write a paper with her, and then I received a text message saying, I'm so sorry for the loss of your dad. My sincere condolences. It is well. And for me, the message came from a neighbor in a neighbor where we lived. So I'm sure the neighbor didn't know that. My family didn't even want me to know yet. So, and she was the closest person. So I just sent her a message and I'm like, where are you? We need to go write the paper. She says, then I even sent her screenshots first. I'm like, can you imagine somebody sending me this? I'm sure it's a mistake. Like, how can they send me this? But she left her room and then came to my end, in that split second, there was a will I had to will. There was a will that came out. I'm sure every single person on that third floor in Baby Brunei knew that something had happened in that room. I needed her there, like, because she knew. My cousin had told her that this is what has happened. And the previous night, she was being so nice. And I'm like, yo, you're not this nice. Because why are you suddenly coming to my room and saying we should go get shawarma? And no, you're not that kind. Because if you even buy for me, you tell me you bought me this. So it's like I needed to let that will out. And I needed her. Now, what my cousin Rachel was doing for me was just her presence.
Yeah.
She is a bit more sanguine. I am melancholic. So we share a room together. I wake up, she's like, she has this energy. She's like, yo, let's do. And I'm like, I don't even want to talk. But just knowing that I wasn't alone, you know,
Helped.
there was one particular night where I was in the kitchen and all I was doing was crying. This was like 2 or 3 years down the line. So you would think that you're making progress or you're
Gone past it.
You're healing in a way. But there's something about grief, you don't completely move on from it. It's a part and parcel of you. There's, like, till date, I'm sitting here, I don't have a dad. Like, it's the fact of life. So it becomes a part and parcel of you.
You build your life around
it.
fact.
Yes. So I'm sitting in the kitchen. It's way past 11 and I'm crying and I don't even know why. Like, where's it? Like, and I want to stop, but it's not. There's no end to it. Like, the tears are just rolling down. And she realized, it's late. Where is she? Like, I'm not on the bed. So then she's looking for me and then she comes. She's like, Aigbe, what's up? What's wrong? Yo, talk to me. When she realized, like, I wanted to talk, but the words were not coming out. So she just sat there. She sat there till about 1 a.m. Then we both got up and then went to bed. So the gift of the presence, like, your presence is a gift to anyone who is grieving. In as much as, no, there are times when they want to do it alone. But then there are times where not necessarily you having to say anything, you having to do anything, but just being there for them. Yes. So for someone who doesn't have people or is not even a people person, I think I would recommend that they explore it.
Yeah.
Because what you would realize is that as you keep talking, and I mean trusted people, and this is where discernment comes in. Because you know that there were times where Jesus had to be with a multitude. There were times he had to be with the disciples. There were times where he had to go away and just be by himself and pray. So I say this by still hammering on the fact that it is needed. Community is needed. The scripture admonishes us to not even neglect the assembling of saints. Yes, so no, it's a necessary part of your healing to just be with people, be with your kind of people. Let me say it that way. Your kind of people, your trusted people. It could be just one person. It could be 2 people. And I know sometimes people say that, how do you know you are trusting the people? Because you've been to people in the past and they didn't carry your story well, or they didn't hold that space for you. They said, hurt people. But hurt healed people heal people.
Okay.
Hurt but healed people, they heal people. So what you realize is that you would definitely find someone who has also been through those experiences, but now they are better off.
Yeah.
There was something I told my best friend when she lost her dad, I think 2 years after or so. I was like, Abna, I feel like I went through this so that I could be there for you.
Yeah.
And she was like, so is this what you felt? Then I feel like I wasn't there for you enough.
Yeah.
But now something had happened to her too. Now we had a common,
Connection.
a common and a shared journey where now she understands, or she knows that, oh, okay, this is how you felt. This is how, so that we could work through that season in a much better way with now gathered wisdom from something you have already experienced. Yeah.
It's like a renewed understanding.
Yes.
I said, yeah, but things like this you need to go through to understand how it feels. Like you can't tell. I can't say, oh, this. You won't understand.
Yeah.
You have to.
A friend recently lost her dad, I think 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I think somewhere in October. And when I visited their house, I was just talking to the mom. She said, I have so many questions. And I was like, ask them.
Yeah.
Ask them. Even if she's alone, she should still ask them. She should pick a book. She should journal. She should ask them. And then my friend was telling me that there are so many people who have so many things to say. And I'm like, it is not the same.
Yeah.
You lost your dad, I lost my dad. But it didn't happen under the same circumstances.
Yeah.
So our stories are so different, even though they seem very, very, very similar.
Yep.
But then they are not the same. Someone who lost a parent, it could be the mom, it could be the dad, it is not the same. So allowing people to also grieve in their own unique shared experiences. So then you know that, okay, no, this is how I am feeling. So that you don't even want to share your experience by hurrying someone's healing. Oh, this was how it was. So no. So you go through this no. They still have to sit with their pain. They have to
go through the process.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about grieving a job, right? So after the pandemic, so between 2022 till date, say 2024, 2025 just started, so we can't really include it. But between 2022 to 2024, I know several people who have had to lose their jobs, specifically because COVID happened and because of where they were working and projections going wrong. There's that, but generally people lose jobs every single time. How should they deal with that grief? Would you call that grief?
Yes, it is. It is. Goodbyes are painful. And the most painful goodbye is the one you didn't even see coming.
Yeah.
That you were about to lose a job. Like, you didn't even have any clue that this was going to happen. Even prior to COVID, let me even put it that way. Yeah. I think there was something happening to our economy that people were being laid off.
Yeah.
It was being done silently, but it was actually happening. And I say this having experienced it myself. So I think when I finished school, I had the intention of doing my service in Kumasi, but things didn't go as planned, and I had to come back to Accra. Now I'm in Accra, and I'm doing my service in a law firm because let me not say I still have the desires of being a lawyer one day. Nice. But then I'm in this law firm, I'm doing my service, I'm seeing like a dream. You're seeing the dream. You're like, oh, then it will happen someday. We'll do this. And then you have all these promises, and they're telling you, oh, once you're done with your service, because of how efficient you are, we are going to keep you on and all of that. Now you've done about 6 months into service, and now even the salary isn't coming as promised. There are times it will come early. There are times you are 2 months late. You are 3 months late, but then the thing about youthful exuberance is that you are even excited to wake up to go to somewhere called a job. So then I'm doing all of that. I'm going through sometimes having to walk all the way from East Legon to Spintex. I remember meeting a friend one day, and he asked me, and I said, "Oh, I'm going for a prayer walk." Like, I'm going for a prayer walk. And I mean, like, oh, goodness. And then you go to work one day, and then you are given a letter that we are so sorry. We can't keep you on. And this is like, you end service in August, but this letter is coming to me in October. So this is where I'm settled in. Like
you have a full-time job now.
I have a job. So when anybody asks, because you're not told that you're on probation or anything. You've been told that we are keeping you on after service. So now your friends are done with service. They are applying for jobs. You don't even, you've not even done any of that because you know that you have a job. Now you go to work and you are given the letter, and they give you the backdated salary of about 2 months, not even everything of it. Then they're like, "Oh, we are so sorry, we can't keep you on, so you have to go." That's a shocker because you didn't see it coming.
And you planned with that in mind.
Exactly. So yes, it is a situation that can set you in a place of grief, because now you've lost a job and you don't have any means of livelihood.
Yeah.
But then also how you navigate it is very essential to even you getting another job. Let me put it that way.
That's true.
So now I love the scriptures. Everything we need is in the scripture. So let me just go back to it. God says that he would what? He would bless the work of our hands.
Yep.
So you sit and you think it through. You're like, what then do you do? For me, that is what I did. I was at home. I was depressed. I went through all of that. But then I thought of it. I was like, what can I do in the interim? So I got up one day and I went to Agublushi.
Period.
Yeah. I went to get food products. Got some containers, went to industrial area, bought containers, bought the seal, bought everything. Spoke to someone to design a flyer for me for my food products. And before I knew it, I had some granite paste, I had some shrimp powder, I had some fish powder, I had some chili pepper. I took it to church. Sold here and there.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. Sold here and there. Before I realized, I made my first 1,000 cedis.
Per.
Yeah. So I believe that essentially what the questions you should be asking yourself is that where's your interest area? What do you have in your hands? Even that's the same thing God asked Moses. What do you have in your hands? It always starts with what you have in your hands. Maybe, and you shouldn't even look at it on the big scale or anything of the sort. I don't have that going right now. I put that on hold because life started happening. And even when I was doing that, then I got one of our bishops in church. She was mentoring me. She says, "Oh, I'll help you get a job," because now she was in EcoBank. And sometimes I even went there to sell my products. Now you're expecting the job and the job is never coming. Then she says, "Oh, do you know, in the interim, can you come and do something for me? I have a shop." You're excited. You're wondering what that shop is. Now I go and then it's groceries. Groceries with a salary of 200 cedis. That's low. Yeah. 200 cedis. But then there was this joy I was doing that with, because for me, during those seasons, I didn't want to compromise. And I believe it was the grace of God that was helping me. I don't think it was anything I did right, because the advances were coming. Even when I was in the law firm, you'd have people telling you that, just bend your back a little. I have a car ready for you. Just do this. I have this. And when I had lost the job, I was like a week, 2 weeks you'd have people, you're even on your way back home from church, and somebody will stop and say, what are you, like, let me give you a lift. You're in the car and you're attractive, so can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? And all of those things would expect that you compromise on some principle or something just to get what they are giving to you. So I'm like, if I don't want to do all of those things, then I still have to pick on the job. Take on the job at the grocery shop. Now you are seated there because I have to. The grocery shop was in Reggie Manuel Estates. That's in the Spintex. So now you have, and if you know Reggie Manuel, you know that there are a lot of flashy cars and all of that there. So now you have such people now coming in and saying, you're well spoken.
Yeah.
How is like? And I'm like, oh yes, I have a degree. Like, so what are you doing in a shop like this? Okay, come and work for me. I'll do this. You know what? You come and give. Oh. That shop just had me piling up business cards, but nobody saying that I will give you a job. Do you understand? So then it's still, I think that it is, what do you have in your hands and what can you do in the interim that gives you that sense of purpose, so that you know that you are not wasting away. Because I think what grief does is when nothing is happening to you, you sort of start to magnify the negatives. Because then your mind is telling you you're worth nothing, you're not doing anything. What is even happening? Lack. So I'm like, okay, so let me just give it up. Let me just go into something else. Let me just do this. Let me just do that. And then all kinds of vices are just popping up in your head. So yeah, I think that what do you have in your hands? What can you do with it? Yes, first of all. And then how do you start? It's okay to start small. It says, do not despise what?
Humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings, yeah.
What goes into being an author?
Sleepless nights. That is for sure. Wow, I'm an author.
Yeah, you are.
Interesting. I think that a lot goes into it. It just doesn't end with just the pieces you've written. It comes with putting the manuscript together. Now, when you put the manuscript together, now you have to go through the editing.
Yeah.
When you're done with your editing, now you find a publisher, you give it to them. Now they do the typesetting. They even have to check if the material is something that people will buy into, or even something that will even sell before they even agree to even publish your book. Yes. Then now you have to do the acquiring the ISBN. That's the code that makes your book valid, or actually see that okay, this is actually a book. Yeah. Then I think a lot goes into being yes, a lot goes into being an author.
So how many months or years did it take from, I mean, not just writing the manuscript, but after the manuscript till?
So after the manuscript till seeing the finished work, I think it took about 9 months.
That's almost a year.
Yeah, 9 months, because I finished somewhere in January 2024 when I put everything together. Got there, but by July it was ready. But then the typesetting, you getting the forward, you getting the praise for the book, you getting the how do you call it, the acknowledgements, because there are people who don't even want their names to come into the book. So you have to speak to people and all of that. So all of that rounding up, I think by September my book was ready. Yes.
It's a long time. A whole baby.
And we pushed it out by God's grace.
And it's here and it's healthy.
Yeah.
And bouncing.
Yeah.
Thank God. You are the personal assistant to arguably Ghana's biggest gospel act currently. I mean, I think if you mention the biggest or the big gospel acts in Africa, his name will come up.
Cut, yeah.
Like I meet people And when I told them I'm from Ghana, they're like, "Oh, do you know Joe Mettle?" I'm like,
Oh.
I listen to him every day. I mean, of course, I do not know him. I mean, I know him. He doesn't know me, not like a person, but everybody knows his music. What does your job entail? Tell us what the ha means.
Is this where I say cut so I get a breather? Yeah. Anyways, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Again, I think 80% has to do with administration, and then I think the other 20%, or should I say more than 20%, has to do with working with people. And also, it doesn't just have to do with you. It has to do with the artist.
Yeah.
And why I'm saying it has to do with the artist is everything revolves around the person. Now, you don't see it as a corporate job, because this has to do with a ministry. So then, here's the case: you want something to be done in a certain way, but because the artist hasn't gotten a green light from God, what you need will be on hold for a certain period of time. And in the corporate sector, it's not like that, because there's a system running.
Yeah.
So you know that when I need this, I go to the HR. When I need this, I go to accounts. I need it, I go to finance. I need this, I go to procurement. I go to this. But then this is not like that. This particular place, your artist is constantly in communication with God. So you can be doing something, you are getting to 80% of that thing, and then he says, we are not going with that plan again. The plan has changed. Yeah.
So then you do like a whole U-turn.
Yep. You do a whole U-turn. There are times where the direction is... I remember somewhere last year where we had to do a recording. What I knew previously was we do recordings, we put out albums every other year. So that's like giving the album like a year to breathe, a year to have done its work. Yes, then you'd release another one. So we had released an album the previous year, but we enter into January. My boss just gets off a flight and calls me and says, what do we have on this day? I'm like, oh, we don't have anything. Oh, then let's move the recording forward. You're like, how? Because this is a recording you have in mind that it will be done in March. So by that January so I'm like, oh, how? Then I work with my cousin in the same space. She is the production head. Then she's like, has our boss told you this is happening? And I'm like, yes, he has. So now they have to now scout for a venue.
That's it.
Yes. And this is less than a week. So I think that what my work stretches me a lot. It challenges me a lot. But then it's also built me in a very unique way, let me put it that way. Because you deal with people, but you don't deal with them the way you have to deal with people in the corporates. You know how somebody does something to you and like, oh, and then let's speak to our legal. Wait, can we go to legal? No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works here. Yeah. And I think there was a time where someone came to me like, I just saw somebody talk to you in a certain way. Why didn't you? But then you look at the figure. You look at your boss and then you let a lot of things slide. Because now what you realize is that whatever you do tells on the person you are working with. Yeah. There was a season in my life where people go to my boss and say, yeah, she's so rude. She's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. And I didn't realize that was actually what was going on. But then, yes, then it still draws me back to the issue of grief. You realize that whatever you don't allow to heal starts to manifest in different areas of your life. So I realized that I was not allowing myself do a lot of work on my heart in my closet. So it was now showing up in my workspace,
Okay.
where you want things to be done in a certain way. So when the person doesn't do it, you start to tell the person your mind. But then that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We are different people that have, how do you call it, a common goal or a common shared project, where it has to do with a person. How person A understands the vision is different. How person B understands the thing is different. So at the heart of work, what do you do? How patient can you be with people? Yeah. So it's been a journey. I joined the ministry as an usher. I didn't even have the mindset that I was going to be a PA someday. But 3 years along the line, we're doing a recording at Conference Center, I believe, where we're doing God of Miracles. I was just standing with one person, and then the Holy Spirit says, pray for him. And I'm like, we are in the service already. Which one to is pray for him? Then I had to go backstage to help one of the singers with something. Now I'm told there's a job opening. I go for the interview, and the person who has to interview me was somebody I helped pin a dress. Yes. Now I'm told the job is PA to Joe Mettle. I'm like, oh, how? You know? So I think there are different experiences, different things that connects us to whatever we are doing.
Interesting. Why did you choose to do your master's in human resource management?
I actually thought I was going to do law until I realized that the space I was in now required that I get some form of knowledge that actually influenced the work I was doing. Yeah, because now you're working with so many people. You are planning, you are delegating, you are doing so many things. And ideally, I believe so well that even with the Christian space, I believe there's a lot of paradigm shifts that can happen in the Christian space if we even applied a lot of the things that's a lot of the systems or the rudiments of human resource. Because we tend to leave a lot of things to chance, that the quote and unquote, leave it to God, it is well. You know, like we tend to leave a lot of things to chance. So we are unable to have systems working in the church space, or let me say the ministry space, which I think should be addressed. So I think that was what informed or got me thinking of even going towards that interest for my master's. Yeah.
And how is that going now that you have it and you're applying it? Is there a difference comparing before and after?
There's a lot of difference, and it's still a learning journey. Yeah. So I think it's still being applied every single day. Yes. So I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. How does your faith impact the job that you do?
My faith has really grown over time. Yes. And then I think that it does a lot. It does a lot. I think basically it forms the foundation for whatever I am doing in my space or my line of work. Because for me, even the mere belief of the fact that God has entrusted something into your hands, and not just that you sit with it, but you actually run with it till you see it manifest. Yes. So I think my faith has grown over time. And also what I have come to actually learn is that whatever we are doing primarily has to do with souls. So the end game is souls. The end game is still drawing people to Jesus Christ. And I say that so that it informs every single thing you are doing. Primarily, the end goal is souls. It's still just not thinking through action plan. Let's go.
Yeah.
No. But prayerfully considering things, going back, rechecking, rehashing things with the Holy Spirit. Do I do it this way? Do I not do it this way? How do I present this? How do I even how to even present a gift to the invited guests for events and all of that? All of that have to be prayerfully considered. Mm-hmm. So I believe that the faith aspect forms like the foundation for everything we are doing. And I think it's like the engine for everything. So on the D-Day, you see everything happening and you're like, good God, this started out of just writing a letter. This started out just from the proposal. This started from just the meeting with the entire team. And all of this doesn't even have to fall on your shoulders. There's an entire team behind the production, where there's protocol, there's ticketing team, there's this, there's that, there's security, there's floor management, so a whole lot of things. But then where I find it very humbling is that you are still the connecting force over there. So then whatever you are doing, you still have to work with every single person or every single department. So the faith idea, or let me say my faith, has impacted my work in a very, very, very essential way. And it's still growing, let me put it that way, because you realize that what you are doing in the closet is now showing outside. So the devotional life, every single thing has a way of impacting the work you're doing. Yeah.
Final question. You work with a lot of people from different backgrounds. I've been to a number of your concerts. There are just so many people, so many moving parts, like you've just acknowledged. What is your biggest hack when it comes to working with people from diverse backgrounds, different ages, like managing people and being that person that people look forward to working with?
Don't fear your emotions, but also don't dwell on your feelings, because our feelings aren't always God's truth.
Okay.
The very thing that needs to inform what you are doing has to be God's truth, and that is His word. And I believe that our hearts is like the soil where everything grows. When you are dealing with people, make sure that you are releasing the emotions, because even the Bible tells us is that what? Guard your heart diligently, because out of it flows all issues of life. So then, what is the posture of your heart as you're working with people? Because people would step on your nerves, the very last one. But then I think that is where also making sure that you're actually also constantly in the Word. Because as you're constantly in the Word, you realize that you'll be checking if the right fruits are growing. Yes. You'll be checking if the right fruits are growing, and then you check, okay, am I being more patient? Am I being gentle? Because if you think that what you are speaking is the truth, if it's not spoken in love, then it's not truth. Because truth is only truth if its source is love. It's only truth if its source is love. So if you are going to person A and you are just you just go to person B and say, yeah, I just went to blast production team. No, that's not how it works. Then you are not working in love. So make sure you are working in love. You are releasing the emotions and you are guarding your heart. Oh God, why am I going to cry? Okay.
Thank you. Luckily it's the end, so you don't have to cry. And we did not cry.
Yes, we didn't. So, we had a little teary-eyed, but no.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah,
we held it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you so much for coming. I enjoyed this, and I'm sure everyone listening, watching, enjoyed it as well. Please make sure to buy Elinam's book. You can order her book, foundworthy.co.
Yeah.
You can order Graced Through Grief on foundworthy.co. So that, just go on the website, place your order there, and a dispatch rider will deliver to you. That's it. You need this book if you've experienced grief, if you're experiencing it. I'm not going to say if you will experience it, but read it. It will change your life. It would impact how you process your emotions, and you'll be blessed. So thank you all for watching. I hope that
my marketing team.
Hey, go me. I hope that you had a good time listening and watching this. Please subscribe if you haven't. See you again next week. Bye.
Thank you for having me.